Hello, girlfriends. We are having a brave story today. I am with Eliza Riley, and she is a holistic menopause coaching specialist who helps women in midlife reconnect with their bodies, balance their hormones, and feel good again from inside out. Oh my goodness, Eliza, I am so thrilled to have you here. And you are also the visionary behind the Holistic Menopause Solutions Summit, which is
Yes.
so exciting. And you're helping women take that brave step to really look and realize that they have some choices in life and how they walk forward in health and wellness.
Yeah.
So glad you're joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and share my story.
Yes, and you have quite a story. And one of the things I realize too is that our stories play such a big part in what we do and how we got to where we are today. And your story really does do that. Let's start off. Let's give the ladies a little idea of the beginning of your story, your health journey, if you will. To give us a little recap of that.
Sure. So, in my mid 20s, actually, I'm in my 50s now. But in my mid 20s, I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cervical cancer, and I know so many of the women listening have. We go in for our yearly PAP, and then you get that diagnosis, that mild dysplasia, right? And it's really nothing to be worried about. The doctor will tell you that it typically clears itself up. And so they'll have you come back in 6 months to be rechecked for it. Well, that was my story. That was the start of my story. And when I went back 6 months later, it was cancer, which
Oh,
is very aggressive and very unusual. Typically, to go from mild dysplasia to cancer takes about 10 years. So I had an amazing group. I had an amazing group of doctors working on my case in Orlando. It was amazing to have these people who worked with cancer, and were really trying to figure out what happened. Why did my cancer? Why was it so aggressive? Why was it moving so quickly? Why? And there was not really a clear answer. There was no real clear why. But that diagnosis really was sort of the original catalyst. From there, of course, I like we do. I did what the doctors told me. I mean, I got the call that I had cancer, and a week later, I had surgery to remove a portion of my cervix. So very quickly moved through the process. 2 weeks after that, I was in the hospital, waiting to, just because my doctor, I say in the hospital, my doctor's office was in the hospital, so so I was there waiting to hear whether or not I was going to have chemo or radiation, or what was the next step for me.
yeah.
And I actually, when I was in that, I still remember so clearly, I was in that office waiting to hear, and I got a call from a hospital in New Orleans saying that my dad, who was 47, had had an aneurysm and died. So it was one for me. It was, here I am, my own mortality, and my dad died. It was the most stressful thing that I think I've ever been through in my life. But you keep going, right? You just keep moving forward. You do what the doctors tell you to. And it took a couple of years, but eventually I got the all clear. Cancer's gone. I didn't have to have chemo radiation. That was huge. Yeah, I was very excited that I didn't have to go that route. But then about 5 years later, the mild dysplasia came back.
Mm. So what were you feeling when you get that, here you think, okay, I've gotten through this, and then you
Mhm.
get the diagnosis again. What
Yeah.
was kind of going through your heart? I mean, there must have been a lot of emotions.
There was, and I will tell you, so when it came back the second time, because it came back as mild dysplasia, and because of the history that I'd had, they didn't want my doctor didn't want to wait 6 months. So I
Mhm.
came in after 3 months, and because if you can imagine, it had only been 5 years or 6 years, 7 years maybe, since I'd had the surgery, and then all of the follow-ups after that, and then here 5 years later, we're doing it all over again. My cervix had not had a chance to heal yet, so it was still this wound that was now being prodded and poked and scraped. But they wanted to do that every 3 months. So 18 months of going in every 3 months for them to check to see, is it cancer yet? Or has it cleared itself up, or is it cancer yet? Like, what is it? And I'll tell you, after 18 months, because it was extremely painful and extremely stressful, because I'm waiting to find out whether or not I have cancer again. And it got to a point where truly, I'm embarrassed to admit, I started hoping for cancer. Like, who hopes for cancer? But I started hoping, because at least then we know what to do with that. We know where to go with that. Like, that would have been easier than this wait and see thing. And
Yeah, you're waiting there in the unknown.
yes.
Yeah, and you don't know how to plan your life, maybe, and you've got you've got on one side this weight of that could be cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even like it's not cancer, or from what I'm hearing, everything's great, but
Yeah.
what could it be, and why is this coming back? So
Uh,
one way or another, there's something there to deal with, it sounds
mhm.
like.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's soul draining. It's not just the medical stuff that you're going through, but it's truly soul draining. And I got to a point where I started questioning, wait a minute, like, if what they did 5 years ago did not cure me of cancer, then what am I doing? Why am I back here doing it again? Why am I waiting for them to figure it out again? And that was really when I started asking the question whether or not I wanted to be treated or healed.
Mm. Okay, that's an interesting question, whether you want to be treated or healed. What is the difference there?
Well, the way that I saw it was, what I did the first time was being treated. I got the surgery, I got the medications, I went through all of the process that the doctors told me to do, but my body, and I got the all clear, my body was not healed, because if it had been healed, I would not be back here again. So that's really what the question I had to start asking myself: what is healing for me?
Okay, so that sounds like a kind of a pivot point in your story and which direction you're going to go with choices and your life and your mind frame. What did that look like?
I really just started. That's really when I started looking into what was holistic healing. What are some of the things, that the non-mainstream ways that people heal from cancer? And I was really surprised to find that it wasn't like these giant things that you had to do. It was things like, eating the right foods, moving
Mm,
your body, getting more sun, stress, like having less stress in your
right.
life.
Yeah, well, isn't that just having that diagnosis and the
Yes.
unknown? What a huge stress. How do you even deal with
Huge.
all of that?
Yeah, yeah, and that was exactly it. It was really what came to me. What came to me at that point was recognizing that the way for me to heal my body was to step away from the treatment and to listen to what was happening, to listen to myself, instead of listening to the doctors and the wonderful team of doctors who wanted the best things for me. I know that, but they didn't really know what that was.
Wow. So as you're walking forward and you make this decision to go a more holistic path, that had to be a quite the decision. So what were your next steps that you had to take?
Well, I'll
And what
tell
did
you
you,
honestly, I'm sorry, say again.
and what did that feel like?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I was totally motivated by frustration, by fear, and by this sense that my body had betrayed me. I really did not trust myself.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I really didn't. But I also got to see firsthand. I'll tell you, one of my doctor who was working with me through all of this was a friend. He wasn't just someone I went to for medical advice. I went to him for life, because he was a friend of mine.
Mhm.
And like I said, I know he cared about me. I know he wanted the best things for me. And there were many times throughout the process when he would say, and I mean the original process of the cancer, he would come to me and say, well, what I would like to do is this, but your insurance company will only allow me to do this. And I got really tired of hearing that the insurance company got to make the decisions when my doctor, the expert, was saying a different thing. That the hardest decision I made at the time, and I hear this all the time when I talk to women, I walked away from health insurance when I was struggling, when I was trying to figure out how to heal cancer. So that was hard. Those
Wow. So all these different pieces, I mean, like you said, your doctor is saying one thing, the insurance is saying another, and then you are now deciding to step into more holistic healing for yourself. I mean, that's a big decision to make. So as you walk forward, what were those first steps that you take, and what kept inspiring you to kind of keep going?
Well, I think ultimately I wasn't trying to fix everything. I was really just trying to be the driver of my healing. I was trying to find a way to heal my body that felt like it felt right, that felt right to me, because the surgery, that didn't feel right to me. The medication, those did not feel right to me. Those are things we do because we have to do, because we believe we have to do them, and they weren't what felt right in my body. So I
Mhm.
was really trying to figure out how I could take control of my own health in a way that felt right. And I know it was so scary. It was so scary because truly you lose support. My family didn't understand. My doctor, my
Mhm.
friend, did not understand.
Mhm.
And even I started making choices in my life. We moved from Florida to back to Louisiana, where my family was, because I thought, if I don't make it through this, I want my kids to be around family. I didn't want them to be out in Florida where no one, where they don't have anyone around. So, like, because what if I am making the wrong decision? Like, there's fear of that. There was a lot of fear that it might not be the right way. What if I'm wrong? Especially at a place where I don't trust my clearly I was making bad decisions in my life because I have cancer.
Well, I mean, so there's this. I mean, there must have been something just driving this decision for you. I mean, because obviously you didn't just make that decision lightly to go this other path. And then what was that? And then what were the actual actions that you took? Maybe a couple of the actions that you first took.
Well, so like after 18 months of the testing, I remember very clearly driving home, and it was an hour. I couldn't drive it myself. My husband always had to come with me, but it was an hour drive to the doctor's office and home. And it was extremely painful. So I would have like a heating pad. They would give me pain meds before I'd actually go in for the procedure. And I would cry the whole way home. And this last time I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this. I have to do something different. I went home. I was done for that day, because the medication, it knocks you out once you stop hurting so bad. But in the days that followed, that's when I started looking into what should I eat? What should I be avoiding? What should, and of course I went to sort of an extreme, because I'm fighting cancer. I don't, the women I work with, I don't tell them, cut out all of these foods. I say, let's start with where you are. But I was afraid, and I was fighting cancer. And I didn't know if I was making the right decision. But when I went back 3 months later for the next checkup, the cancer was gone. The mild dysplasia was gone. It had healed. And after that, I still had to go back every 6 months, and then every year after that, and it's never returned. So I think from the start, when I went back, it was really like fingers crossed, like hoping that this is working, hoping that it's going to show something, and it showed that, hey, it's gone.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. So you've mentioned some of the challenges. I mean,
Yeah.
family, husband, kids. What was that like for them?
Well, my boys were young, so
Mhm.
I don't think that they knew anything of it.
Mhm.
But my husband did, and he was extremely. I will tell you, my husband was probably the most supportive of my family, because um, he he got to see me throughout the whole process. He saw how painful it was, not just physically but also emotionally. So I think that he was just like, whatever you feel like you need to do, then do it. But uh, but the rest of my family was not so understanding.
Yes. I mean, we're so taught to, the authority, the
Mhm.
doctors, and it's not always what we think, because now they're asking us, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, aren't you the doctor? you know? And it's changing. And one of the things that you wrote in your story too is that I'm trying to find it here, is that it's not just healing, and to take part in that healing is something that you take part in. And it sounds like you jumped in with both feet to take control and really discover what was going to be best for you.
Mhm.
And so that is such a brave step. I have to, clap to you. And everybody's story is different. So
Sure.
everybody, check with, your doctors and whatever if you are currently walking through something. But know that there's some options here. I love
Mhm.
that. So as you continue down the journey, and you find that years later that it's not there, and that had to be such a relief. So what did that feel like? Did that create some confidence in you, and on your decision making?
Absolutely, absolutely. I will tell you too. One of the things I try to express to the women that that listen to me, that I speak to, that I work with, we don't have to wait for the C word. Like, you don't have to wait for a big diagnosis like this to start putting your healing in your hands. Like, you
Hmm.
don't wait for that. Like, we have an opportunity every day to make better choices. We have an opportunity to figure out what our body is asking for. And our bodies are so wise. They truly, truly are. I mean, if you think about it, when you cut your finger, you don't have to like concentrate on closing the gap. Like, you don't have to think about it. Your body is going to heal that. Our body is always moving towards healing. And what gets in the way is us. We get in the way. We're like rubbing dirt into the wound.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned earlier listening to your body. So say you don't have cancer, but what are some of those things that maybe came up for you to listen to your body? What are some of those little keys that you think women kind of come up against that they should maybe be listening to?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's the whole thing is our body is talking to us all the time. Whether it's right, whether we get heartburn every day, every day at 6 o'clock, I get heartburn, no matter what I eat. Well, that's your body communicating with you. If your joints hurt when you whatever, like, that's your body communicating with you. And our body starts off by whispering. It's really like, hey, here's a little niggling pain, pay attention to me. And you go like, no, no, it's fine. Or you take some Tylenol, or you take some other kind of pain reliever so that you can go, shh, 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 I don't need to hear that right now.
Um,
But what happens is that the voice is going to get louder and louder and louder until you can't ignore it, or you can't quiet it that way. It's going to take something bigger and more, something like medication or surgery. You're going to have to, your body is screaming at you now. You can't ignore it. It's just so important to slow. We live in such a fast-paced world, and I don't care what your life looks like, it's too fast for most people are going too fast. Like, it just, if when we slow down and start paying attention to the whispers of our body, then we can address that. We can start moving towards, even just asking yourself, what is it that you need in this moment? Like, what is the heartburn saying to me right now? Like, what is it?
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe we should be talking to our bodies, going, yes, I see this inflammation in my knee and it's sticking there. What does that mean? And what are the options? So as we continue with the story, what are some of the lessons or wisdom that you've gained from this that you now apply to your life?
Truly, it's really, you don't have to be fearless to move forward. I mean, I'll tell you honestly,
Oh,
like, when I went through my story, with the cancer and then the coming back, I didn't feel fearless at the time. I did not feel like I was being brave. I felt like I was just doing the best I could in the moment, and hoping and hoping that it was going to turn out well. But you don't have to be fearless to move forward. You just need to be willing to listen, even just a little. It's so important to give yourself a little bit of attention, and know that when these big diagnoses come up, you are allowed. You won't be told this, but know it. It is true. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to question with what you're being told, and you are allowed to make a choice for yourself and how you go forward.
yes. That's really key right there, the questioning, because I think a lot of women in particular, we just accept what the doctor said or the authority or whatever that is. We
Mhm.
were not always taught to question, and some women are really great at it, but a lot of us are not. And so it's really important to maybe check in, with some reliable other sources of what maybe might be some great questions to be asking. And I think that's why, like, working with somebody like you and what you do too, that helps bring up those questions. It broadens our perspective and helps us learn and educate ourselves. And education, along with that choice and the decision making, is so powerful to give us confidence in making those next steps, if you will.
Absolutely. That's part of the reason why I created the summit. No, you haven't asked me about it, but I'm going to tell you. I created
We were going to go there next.
I created it because I really, my goal is to empower women with the tools that they need so that when they go back to their clinician, whoever that is, that
Yes.
that they know more, ideally more about their bodies and their health than the person that's sitting in front of them. Because the unfortunate reality is that most doctors don't get menopausal training. It's a very low number. And even in that realm of very low number of doctors who get any menopausal training, the training that they get is give them what is it? I'm going to say Xanax, but they give them something for depression, like give them something for anxiety. And that's it. Like, there you go. Take this pill and leave me alone. Like, that's the extent of it. But when you are armed with, okay, here's what my hormones look like, here's what's happening in my body, here's how this is all connected, you go in and you can stop allowing that allopathic treatment where they go, oh, you have hot flashes and you're going to take this pill for that, and you can't sleep at night, well, that's okay, we're going to give you this pill for that. It's all connected.
Wow. Yes. And so, I think one of the things that I am so excited, and you have a huge panel of experts and people who have experience and knowledge in the midlife menopause phase. And what I love, and touched on this, it's just those options to know what's available and that we have choices in how we age. I think that's the thing that I have gleaned so much in these last few months, just coming into this whole conversation about menopause. So ladies, menopause doesn't end kind of during that. We think of menopause as this little change, this little couple years. It's like you're in menopause the rest of your life, girlfriends. It doesn't end. You're still in it. It's like either before or after. It's not, these three different things that I used to say. Post menopause is like, no, it doesn't. It's not post. You're still in it. So that's what I've learned lately, and that there is still things that need to be, whether it's osteoporosis or all these different things that you might be experiencing that maybe don't have to be. Maybe there's a solution or something that could help you to age in a more way of having vitality as we age.
Yeah, absolutely.
And energy, or not having to go to that brain fog. We don't maybe even realize that some of these things are part of menopause.
Yeah.
And that there could be solutions. So that's what I really love, that you're bringing this to the forefront, to bringing the conversation to the table, and creating a space for women to have questions and to have, and I love it that you call it the menopause solutions. Because there's so many women out there just, they're thinking they're crazy or something, and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn. So this just gives women just a safe space to go explore the possibilities, if you will.
Absolutely. There's so many women out there who think that they're either going crazy or they're completely alone in what they're going through. And neither of those are true. And that's one of the things, we have 25 experts in the summit this round. And many of them are doctors who have stepped away from the mainstream or conventional medicine, and they do a more holistic or functional medicine, which is absolutely amazing to me. I love seeing so many doctors who are really good at what they do and recognizing, wait, what I learned in medical school isn't healing people. So then they go back to school so that they can. It's truly amazing.
Yes. And a lot of those doctors too, I realize, are going into what they call concierge kind of types of services, because unfortunately a lot of our insurance does not cover preventative medicine. So ladies, just know that sometimes you might have to invest in you,
Absolutely.
and you have to decide if your life is and health is worth it. And yeah, and to see what those options for you are. So as you are standing here today, what would you like to share with women that might be walking through thinking that maybe they're crazy, maybe they're feeling alone, or maybe they're walking through a health challenge, maybe something similar to what you walked through? So what would you say to her?
Well, I would say first and foremost, give yourself permission to put yourself first. Because most women get to midlife and we have taken care of our careers, our children, our spouse, our parents, all of the other people in our lives, and we've never allowed ourselves to be center stage in for ourselves. Like we
Right.
just don't.
Right.
Give yourself, first off, give yourself permission to put yourself first. Secondly, give yourself permission to get a coach. It doesn't have to be me, but
It could be.
it could be. But truly,
Yeah.
so often we're for most of us, this is the only time we're going to go. Well, I'd say for all of us, this is the only time we're going to go through menopause. We do it one time.
Yeah.
You've never done it before, so you can't be like, oh, I've done that before, I know how this works. No, you don't know, and that's okay that you don't know. But there are people out there who do. Give yourself permission to reach out to someone who can hold your hand and help you walk through this, because it does not have to be miserable. It does not have to feel like you're slogging through mud. It can be gentle, it can be calm, it can be easy. But you have to give yourself permission to recognize that you deserve it, and then to give yourself permission to reach out for it. And also, I mean, it's not about loud celebrations. It's about quiet things. And when it comes to healing, it's about grounded things. It's about everyday choices that say, I deserve to feel good in my body. And that means I'm going to go for a walk outside instead of watching another episode of whatever show you're watching.
Oh my goodness. I actually just got back from a walk right before this. I'm like, yeah, I deserve to go for a walk. It's not funny that we have to tell ourselves that you deserve to get up away from your computer and go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to mention, some of the ladies are going to be watching this well after this December. So I'm hoping, and I don't know if you have plans for this at all. So the summit is December 1st
through the 5th. Mm-hmm.
The 5th of 2025. This is we're recording. Are there going to be chances for women to listen to that afterwards?
Absolutely. I always offer the ability to own the talks. If you sign up for this particular one, you get the talks from the last one too. So it's really great. You get double your information with no extra money. But I'm looking for additional ways to share this throughout the year, so that there are other ways to go in and get more information. Absolutely.
Okay. So here's my point, girls. If you are listening to this now, sign up for the event, and we'll give you links and all that kind of good stuff. So as we close out here, here's your last question for today. How are you celebrating the woman you've become today?
Honestly, like, I don't feel like I spend nearly enough time celebrating myself. I wish I could say, oh, I do these amazing things. I really don't. I live a very calm life. I think that's a sort of celebration.
That is.
I do. It's me, my pet, my puppies. My son who lives here with me, he's amazing. I have a partner who's amazing, and really I think the celebration is purely that it is very calm. It's kind of drama free, and also we just do what feels right we do what feels right in our bodies when we want to. So like, we will go for a drive or go for a walk, or we'll take the weekend and just literally just sit on the couch and read books all weekend, like, if that's what we want to do.
I love it. So, if I can get to this really quickly, I would love to read what you wrote. So, ladies, I also want you to know that Eliza's story is on our Fave platform, and it is so beautifully written. It goes into a little bit more detail because we can't go into everything here. So, I'm just going to this. So, I'm going to read what you wrote because I think it's really
Okay.
beautiful. So, these are some of the questions that she answered to in the written form. And you wrote, the question was, how are you celebrating the woman you've become? And you wrote, by trusting her. I spent so many years doubting my body, second guessing my choices, and waiting for someone else to tell me what was right. Now I celebrate the woman I have become by listening to her, by creating space for rest, by doing work that aligns with what I care about most, by helping other women find their way back to themselves. For me, it's not about loud celebrations or big moments. It's the quiet things, the grounded things, the everyday choices that say, I'm proud of who I am and how far I have come. And honestly, I'm still becoming, but I celebrate that too. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Oh, Eliza, that is so beautiful. And I don't know if that's touching the hearts of other women, but thank you. Thank you for writing those words because I think that gives us permission to celebrate ourselves as well. So thank you for joining us. I encourage the women to join us at the summit, and I'm going to be sharing my story there too. And so just really excited that you are the visionary behind this and bringing these women together.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Karen.
All righty. Girls, we'll see you next time on the Being Brave Tour.